Recording is starting. Here we are. This is a pre-recording for those of you that might catch the little pre-stream here on YouTubers, because the YouTube video will go live a few minutes before the podcast goes live. And this is experiment 999 million. All right, whatever it is. I need to start this recording device here and get that one going.
Experiment 42.
Experiment 42. All right, experiment
Yes.
42 it is. All right, we've got everything else is rolling along. All things looking good. We're going to, try to stick to a semi-similar format as usual. We'll have our little pre-stream music here to carry us right to showtime. All right, there we go. Let's have a little bit of good music, bad singing on a miserably hot day. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that works.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Saying they're right or wrong, I ain't no Texan dancer, Lord knows where I belong. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
Definitely mine.
Story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at the crossroads, joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Alrighty, it is showtime. So off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z. not Z.
It's episode 518, and we have no plugins for you today. No ClassicPress Options, just some good discussions and talking. It's grilling weather up here in the great, not white north today.
No, not at all.
It's bloody freaking hot. But we still have a couple things just to keep the rhythm of the show. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Oasis on a live to-tape episode of WP Plugins A to Z. And I am John Overall, and with me is the ever-lovely
Amber overall.
And our show today is definitely a little different. It's Canada Day for all of those out there. Us Canadians here, it's generally a holiday. We usually don't take them off, but this year, well, decided to take it off last week, and I'm really glad I did, considering the heat wave that has leveled upon us and will be here for the entire week.
Yeah.
This show is being done a couple of days early, but, just to be fun, keep a couple of things. It is 67 weeks. The count continues. The plan. Life is what it is. And we are going to give you a bit of a show today. It's definitely different. We're going to be having a little bit of discussions on things, talk about some news, WordPress, the future. We just not bringing plugins. We're doing something a little different. Celebrate Canada's holiday.
Something else too is I honestly could not think of any questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to blame it on the heat.
Well, we'll get off on that. And for me, it's myself. It is time for me.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
There you go.
Off the soapbox, off you go.
Yep.
All right. This is number 26 of 52 episodes for 2021. It's episode 518. And my goodness, I hope everyone out there is faring all right in this crazy heat. At least everyone who is in our area, I guess. I guess by the time people hear this, hopefully the heat will calm down, so it won't be nearly as psychotic. I had to call my dad. I have to call you just to get a few tricks on how to stay cool. I think the best one that I've learned is about the sheets. If you grab some sheets, wet them down, hang them up in your windows and your doors, then when the air comes in, it gets cooled down by the damp, and your house cools down a bit. Normally, I would recommend to get outside, but I'm not going to recommend that this week. If you can, stay inside close to your endless supply of water and cold food, and use that freezer. Check your bottles of water in there and drink them. If you can stay inside anyways. If you can't, head somewhere with running water and shade, like a river. If you can get there, you'll stay nice and cool, and bring some beer. You can stick it in the river to cool down. Either way, make sure you turn off your media for a little while. Enjoy the calm and quiet. And rinse and repeat as often as needed. Though hopefully we don't get any more 38-degree days in this summer.
Oh, no, it's 41 here. 41 degrees.
41?
And for those that don't understand Celsius, that's 105.8 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Hang on, I have to check my weather now because my weather is different from yours.
Yeah, well, you're probably a bit warmer than me, considering that, it's only 20 kilometers distance, but still funny. But yeah.
Apparently it only feels like 41, so.
Only feels like 41. Yeah, well, that's not what I've got a weather station on my balcony, so that's what my official weather is on my balcony. Yes, this is being recorded at the Tavern Overlook, but I'm coming to you from the Oasis because I will not be at the Tavern Overlook on Canada Day.
I'm thinking that's probably closer to 42 over here as well.
Yeah, probably. Nice, big, hot weather, and makes for, who wants to be sitting in front of computer monitors with the heat radiating off of them? And if your computer box itself is too close to you, that's radiating heat. Why add more heat to the mix? But, hey, we needed to do a show. We needed to get it pre-recorded and get it out there for everyone. Let's go talk along to a couple of quick things here and deal with a little bit of news.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
And Amber.
Hey, you almost got them perfect. So it seems like this week has actually been kind of a slow week for WordPress information. I didn't really get much WordPress info. The first one I have up here is Windows 11. Even the makers of it are not entirely certain if your PC will be able to run it, even if you are currently running Windows 10. So that's a thing.
Good. That means I won't have to update.
Well, they've put the end date for 2025. So I guess they're just expecting everyone to upgrade their computers, especially so that they can continue running Windows.
Mm-hmm. Maybe by 2025, I'll learn how to use Linux.
Maybe. It seems like a good time to start learning.
It is. It's a very good time with the stuff that they're doing with Windows these days. You know, they're making it harder. They're forcing more upgrades down your throat. They're creating difficulties. It kind of reminds me of going back to the days of Windows 3.0.
Windows 3.0? What was it like?
It was a pretty miserable piece of machinery to use.
Okay, was it the same kind of idea where they're forcing upgrades, or was it?
It was no, they didn't force upgrades on you. They only started cramming the upgrades down your throat with Windows 10. Windows 10 is when you no longer got an option to upgrade. You could go the entire life of a package of Windows without ever upgrading until Windows 10.
Okay. And
but Windows 10, it's like I've tried. I've only managed to push my updates out for 5 or 6 months before it goes. We must update now. You will not be able to use it unless you update. It's like, okay. Well, I
feel like they took a leaf out of MacBook.
Yeah, probably.
Because Macs have always done that. They've always forced the updates and pushed everything on you that way.
And keep breaking shit.
Yep.
Just when you get a perfectly running system, they cram an update down your throat and they break everything. And then my favorite part is when they go in and change all my settings. That's my favorite part. It's like, really? You couldn't do this without changing all my settings?
Of course not. All right, well, the next one I've got is EA. It's a gaming giant. They have security holes from back in December 2020. So if you are a user of the gaming giant Electronic Arts, be aware they still have not dealt with those security issues. Getting a lot of flack for it now, but the issues have yet to be resolved. So if you're a user of EA, check this out, look it over, check your own stuff, see what you can do about it if you can. They're only just getting around to fixing these issues. It's not good.
Yeah. Doesn't sound too unusual for Electronic Arts.
No, not really. EA Games they're special.
Yep. I don't play too many video games anymore, so it's all good.
Then the next one I've got is Gutenberg 10.9 renamed the query block on their thing. They've also got a collapsible list. They're rolling out Rich Earl previews, which I hadn't even heard of Rich Earl previews until I read this.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting article, but I mean, if they renamed one thing, I wonder how many more things they're going to rename until they've got all these strange names for everything that you're used to other names for.
Oh, probably lots and lots of different things.
Yeah, I see that as like a warning thing.
Yeah. Really, really hard to know. And I don't really have much in here on Gutenberg. This seems like a good spot to just sort of chat a bit about Gutenberg, though.
Yeah.
And because one of the things that I do is we talk about how WordPress is changing and how it's changed, how I fought the changes for 2 years, and now I'm being reluctantly drugged to the carpet and been chastised properly, and now I'm having to learn to accept Gutenberg.
You must bow down.
I must bow down. If I want to continue working in WordPress, I must bow down to the Gutenberg god and learn how to use it and start to figure out all the things that's going to happen, because I know they're going to in December. They promised to support the classic editor till December. It'll probably get pushed off one more year But
God, I hope so.
after that, the only thing that'll help is there'll be a few plugins kicking around to bring back the Classic Editor, but in 2 or 3 years' time, they'll completely drop support for the Classic Editor entirely.
Yeah.
So if
Most likely.
you don't get off of it and get into the Gutenberg system, you're going to have to go into ClassicPress or some other CMS system. Who knows? In that time, maybe ClassicPress could grow up and start to work a whole lot better than it does now, and maybe more people will develop for ClassicPress. It's really hard to say. It's really hard to say what's going to happen, but this I can see it happen. Just the trajectory of WordPress and Gutenberg and the audience and the user base that they're after. They're no longer after the user base of developers. They're after the user base of all the independent people.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are moving on to doing this stuff because of the way the world is going. Actually, I have an article in the extra stuff, and it's actually something that I'd like to bring up. It's about the change and the change in the work world due to tech.
How technology is changing hiring and HR practices?
Yeah, it's not when I read through it, it's mainly about that, but it also touches on other effects. Sorry, they got pop-ups.
Everybody's got pop-ups. You get used to them now.
But ever since the whole COVID thing, the numbers of people who are working remotely and the number of people who are getting into doing their own sites to sell their stuff, like people who used to just go to markets and sell things, now they're getting more online. And it's changing the world so much. I mean, even for hiring, people are doing interviews through a freaking, and that you can no longer walk up and shake the person's hand and get an idea of the kind of personality of the person through their handshake.
Nope.
I mean, on Saturday, we had some workers working on the house, and I went to shake the guy's in charge hand, and he shook my hand, but it was one of those, limp handshakes that says that he's not a very strong-willed person. And I got that because I shook his hand.
Yeah.
When you're hiring someone or when you're being interviewed by someone on an app like this, you don't get to know the person, and you don't even really know what their voice sounds like. You hear the electronic version of their voice. You don't even actually fully have the ability to recognize their voice if you meet them in person. Oh,
yeah, absolutely, especially because you can set up a computer to change your voice before it's even sent out.
Exactly. This is changing everything in the work world, and this is actually a pretty good article for people who've been in the work world for a little while, who are used to the ways of doing things that we've done for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it this way, and this actually goes through and it helps bring up these different points and gets you thinking about them. It's a decent article.
Well, that is interesting.
It depends on a little bit, but this is also becoming a pet peeve of mine. It's we may as well just pass everything over to AI at this point. There's no point in us even trying to be humans at this point.
It's working its way that direction, but and I don't know fully where Gutenberg is heading and what it's going to do, but it is changing everything, and it is changing the landscape. And there are going to be companies that are going to survive. The ones that pivoted and changed 2 years ago when I should have, but I didn't. I should have changed 2 years ago and embraced Gutenberg and went down that path, but I don't like things crammed down my throat, so I tend to rebel. And there are companies, I know a couple of companies that changed and they followed it, and they're starting to succeed quite nicely. I mean, there's going to be block builders, plugins that are built for WordPress are still going to be, or for Gutenberg are going to start becoming more popular. The functionality plugins are still going to be needed. There's still going to be a lot of functionality needed. Themes is going to, I think the theming industry is going to get crushed in this. I really think the theming industry is going to get crushed because of what Gutenberg is trying to do. Gutenberg wants to be an end-all be-all to everything, and they're getting there.
Yeah, I still think that because they're trying to do that, they're going to end up overdoing themselves, and they'll be like those multi-tools that they have so many tools you can't actually use any of them properly.
Oh, that could happen too. That could very well happen too. But WordPress has been like that for quite some time with so many tools in it. You have to really be selective. Like you can be selective with one of those little multi-tools and select one that has only the specific tools you need, and it works fine. So
That's true.
And WordPress is much like that. But what I'm thinking in WordPress itself, as far as what Gutenberg is doing, is that Gutenberg is crushing many areas that were wide open before, because all WordPress provided originally was the platform. It provided the skeleton frame, and everything was added on to it. Well, now WordPress is no longer providing just the skeleton frame. They're providing the skeleton frame and a large chunk of the plumbing and a large chunk of the paint at the same time. So it's leaving very little. Basically, I guess you could think of it like, you know, you build a house and then you hire an interior decorate to come make your room look pretty.
So they're kind of using the same system as what they're using to build the houses. The new houses that I keep seeing, all I keep thinking of is pod people.
Yeah, pretty much same thing.
So they're turning all the sites into pod people sites. Hey.
Yeah. So, and this is where I see some of the things happening. But because I'm in this industry for at least 3 or 4 more years, I've got to pivot and change and adapt to be able to do it. The one thing I have noticed over the last 2-3 years, there's been fewer and fewer problems with hacked WordPress websites. So
well, that's a good sign.
The security has gone up to an effect where there's no longer the easy hacks which defaced websites and created problems. The hacks now are a little more severe. When I do get a hacked website, it's a pretty severe hack. I haven't seen one in a while. But it used to be the mainstay of my business was fixing hacked websites.
Okay.
But now it's not. And now it's a matter of, there's a lot of changes that are they're just coming down the pike. And I know I have to learn Gutenberg. I got to actually sit down and build out a site from ground up with Gutenberg and see how it comes together.
Well, it should be interesting to see what kind of options they provide you with, because I kind of played with it a little bit, but I haven't gotten too deep into it yet.
Yeah.
So far, it's hard to learn when you're used to one way of doing things.
Yeah, that's the other problem is if you got one way of doing things, now you got to do it a completely different way. You got to unlearn what you know.
Yeah.
And that was that's my big problem is unlearning what I know. That's why the dramatic changes in the tech industry over the last 10 years have been hard. I used to look forward to all those changes because I was always learning something new, but it always enhanced what I already knew. Now it's changed to the point that if you already know a bunch of stuff, you have to unlearn what you know to learn the new. And it can be hard to unlearn what you know.
Yeah, I can understand that. The image that comes to my mind is having to relearn how to ride a bike.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note there, let's pop into our donation segment of the show.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A-Z.
Absolutely. This is where we like to recognize everyone who's provided time, talent, or treasure to the show. And we like to start off by talking and acknowledging those that have donated some talent to our show. This week here, I'm using, I think, the last of the artwork we have for the show, and our artwork comes to us again from Angel Lamu. Originally, I calling it, it's grilling time, but I was going to call it Hotter than Mars, or As Hot as Mars, and then I went, wait a minute, is Mars actually hot? Turns out Mars ain't so hot. Mars is a pretty fucking cold planet.
Yep. Also, they've had lots of cloudy days.
Yeah, well, so Mars is a pretty cold planet. But anyway, I saw the Mars rover with the little face on there for the antenna. It's pretty cool. I kind of like the artwork, and you look at Mars though, you think it's hot, just the way it looks. It looks like a hot, miserable desert world, but I guess it's just a cold, miserable desert world. Take your pick. At any rate, thanks a lot. The art comes to us from Angel Lamu. Greatly appreciated, Angel. And hey, if you're listening to the show, we need more artwork. We're running out fast. I guess I got to get in there and update the thing to so that people can start donating the artwork into July instead of into May's, so we can have that up to date. Hey, remember, anyone out there want to donate some time? Well, time is another thing we use. If someone wants to manage the art generator for us, I'd be thrilled if someone could manage the art generator and get it better organized and fully functional. I never seem to have the time. I have a few minutes here, an hour there, and it's surprising how long it actually takes to accomplish things sometimes.
Especially when you got kids running around demanding your attention.
Well, kids running around. I've also got a second business I'm building out, lots of other things on my mind. My brain is elsewhere. And then, there's these problems that humans have. We have to sleep and we have to eat and we have to, clean ourselves. There's all these things we got to take care of. It'd be so much easier if we didn't have to sleep. Sleep is the biggest one. If I could stop sleeping, I could get so much done. I actually did that one year. I managed to go for like a month and a half, and it's a unique sleep cycle that you create. And basically what happens is you work for 3 hours and you sleep for an hour, then you work for 3 hours and 30 minutes and you sleep for half an hour. And it's a cycle throughout the entire day where you have these little shortened naps. It helps you become psychotic pretty quick too. But you get a crap load of work done because you're no longer sleeping for 8 hours. You've dropped your sleeping down to about 3 to 4 hours. And you, for some reason, I was really focused and I was doing fantastic with it. And then I guess my immune system wasn't up to the task and I got a really bad flu.
Oh.
And it knocked me out. And by the time I recovered from the flu, I just couldn't carry on with that kind of thing. But I did try it. I can't remember what it's called. It was in vogue about 10 or 15 years ago. I did it about 7 or 8 years ago. And because I just wanted to see if it would work, see if I could get more accomplished. And yeah, you can get more accomplished, but I'll tell you the one thing it is only good for, it's only good for people that are in their 20s or early 30s. Don't try to do it in your mid to late 40s.
I keep saying that if they come out with a piece of tech that you can attach to yourself and make it so you don't have to sleep for 3 to 4 days at a time, but your body gets all the rest it needs somehow.
Oh,
I think that'd be great.
That would be a great
I
invention.
would love to do that.
That would definitely be a great invention.
Yeah, I would happily graft that to myself.
All right, so we do acknowledge those that provide time, and so thanks to Charlie for helping manage the contest. We'll cover that in a little bit here. And also, we like to acknowledge those that donate their treasure to us. And we do have a few of you folks out there. There's a small handful of you that donate a few bucks each month or a couple of bucks a week. Nothing significant, but hey, it's recognition. It's you're trading to us the value for value that the show is under. And anyone donates 50 bucks or more, hey, you get a note read out in the show and you get an executive producer credit on the show. And it's a credit you can use anywhere. We'll vouch for you. Yep, you are the executive producer of the WP Plugins A-Z show. All right. Well, we don't have plugins. We did
Not today.
It was kind of like, okay, well, we could do a regular kind of show, but it's not a regular kind of day. This is the first time we've done a pre-recorded show in, well, you've been on the show for just over a year now.
And we've never done a pre-recorded show since I've been here.
I haven't done a pre-recorded show in about 3 or 4 years now. It's the last time I did a pre-recorded show. So I've worked every Thursday since. I've not taken a holiday since. So this is a holiday. I think it's a
well. No, we took a one Thursday off last.
Oh, we took an entire day off. Yes, didn't we? We took the entire day off. We just didn't have a show. We skipped a day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, okay then. Well, this is still okay. All right, but let's talk a little bit about ClassicPress. We touched on it a few minutes ago here. ClassicPress itself, it's starting to grow. The community is still growing a bit. They've added, as I've mentioned once or twice, they've added their plugin repository. I don't think they've got a good handle on how to implement it yet.
Okay.
But once they get that implemented, along with a theme repository, that'll help them leap forwards and leap ahead by bounds.
That makes sense.
Because those are two of the things to bring in. Because what they have to bring in, they not only got to bring in the developers, which is all that are, for mostly, that's all ClassicPress is now, is the hardcore developers. You need the ones that don't write their own code. know how to read code, know how to work with code, but don't write their own code. I fall into that category because I can read it, I can debug it. I just have problems writing it. I think it falls into my typing skills. You got to have really premium typing skills to be a code writer.
Yes, I've noticed. Even my typing skills aren't quite up to par.
Yeah, it's like I can't do it. I've tried over the years. I've taken typing classes and everything else. I think I only managed to ever get myself up to like 33 words a minute in typing.
Really?
Yeah, really. Well, I had to get up to 32 words a minute to take the course I needed to take in college. And it took me a month and a half of practicing on the keyboard with my 3-finger typing to get up over 32 words a minute. And that's without mistakes. I think they give you like a small percentage of mistakes during the testing. So I worked really hard to get there, and I promptly went, yeah, I don't need it anymore. I'll just continue with my typing the way it is. And of course, my typing skills have dropped back down. I'm lucky if I can type 15 words a minute now. So.
Well, yeah, you made it though. So you can do it. You just gotta concentrate.
I have to concentrate. And the big thing is because I actually have to watch my fingers. What it took me reading a screen, memorizing entire sentences of text and typing, or paragraphs of text and typing it all out, and then look up, memorize a block of text and type it down. Because I still could not do touch typing. I tried. I just can't do it. I can't look at the screen and type.
I find that if you don't learn with touch typing, you can't really do touch typing.
Well, see, I think I was taught it back in high school, back on an IBM Selectric typewriter, but I barely passed that typing class too, so hey, it's all good. All right, so ClassicPress, though, I believe they have potential. I've always believed in them since the beginning. They haven't given up. They've still got a community around them. Things are working for them. They did lose one of their major people in there. He backed out of the community for whatever reasons he chose, and has given off his plugins to good people to manage and maintain. But I think things will come around from them. I mean, even WordPress, like I started WordPress over 12 years ago now, and they turned 17 this year, so they were only 5 years old when I ran into them, and they was such a rough system to use. It was so hard to understand, and I was at that time, I wrote a course on how to use WordPress and taught WordPress in classrooms. And so I think I didn't think that through when I ClassicPress, because ClassicPress is about that stage of WordPress now, at its 2 to 4 year stage before things started breaking through for them. And that's what will happen to them eventually.
So essentially, keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Look at it from time to time. Try to install one on ClassicPress from time to time. See how it's improved. See how the functionality is improved. See what plugins are available for it. Because, in another year or two, currently a lot of plugins for WordPress work in ClassicPress without any problem, but their code bases are starting to drift apart. So as their code bases drift apart, none of their stuff will be compatible with the other fully. All right.
Well, that kind of brings up the fact that we're not really going to be doing much in ClassicPress. We're not going to be trying to bring in plugins anymore. If someone writes it out, we'll put it up.
Yeah,
we'll give you credit, but we're not really going to be doing much. Just keeping the information that you need in order to get to it, to good understanding, stuff you should look at. We're not really going to be doing much else with it this time, not for a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which is a shame because ClassicPress is really a great thing. All right, and plugins, like I said, we don't have plugins this week. We're just going to skip right over the plugins. We will be back next week with all our usual slew of plugins and all kinds of great stuff for you. And I think we'll just skip the ad for this week. Questions? Well, you don't have questions this week. Oh, we got to talk about the contest. The contest is still up and running. We have a contest, so we need to jingle.
It's a contest. WordPress plugins from A to Z.
I love that jingle.
Absolutely. Great jingle. Thanks to Steve Goodtime and Brant Matthews, who created the jingle for us. Thanks to Simple Giveaways, who powers our contests for us. They are kind enough to provide us with the premium version of their plugin. I did pay for it for a couple of years, but then they opted to provide it to me just so I can mention their name, tell you all about them. I do like the plugin. I've been using it since it was brand new, and it works fantastic. And a big thank you again out to Charlie for helping the show out and getting the contests all organized, contacting the developers, getting the licenses. Not only just getting a license, but he's getting these amazing premium licenses for winners. You know,
Yeah, he's doing brilliantly.
these are not your average, annual license. These are lifetime licenses. You get it, you've got it permanently. You don't have to renew it or nothing. He's getting us some great stuff. I do have an interview with a developer this next week for another plugin that's going to be our next contest. We'll let that one come up later. But so a lot's going there. The last contest was for the Bloxy plugin. The Bloxy license, which we gave away a personal, professional, and an agency license, all 3 licenses. And they were, again, lifetime licenses. And Bloxy, really great plugin. I haven't used it yet, but Charlie has, and he gave us a review of it in episode 515. So make sure you go check out that review in episode 515. Hear all about that plugin. And one more time, thanks, congratulations out to the winners of that contest for Lewis, Martin, and Ellison. And don't forget, guys, enter our current contest. Our current contest is for Orderable. It's for making online ordering a breeze and profitable, where you can accept pickup or delivery orders for food, goods, products, or services from your personal business or from your business location. It's a really interesting plugin. I don't know how I'm going to be able to use it myself, but this is a single site lifetime license valued at $599. So you can go in and make your orders for ordering products for people to do pickup stuff, adjust order layouts, products, order bumps, order flow, time slots, cart widgets, a whole lot of stuff in this plugin. Looks to be a very interesting plugin. Make sure you go check it out. It's at orderable.com and enter the contest to win the license.
Definitely something that would be very useful in the current market.
Yeah. Yep, great little plugin. All right.
I think that's it because I can't think of any questions.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps everything for the show. You got no questions? Well, I'm surprised. You always have questions.
The gears, they're rusty from all the humidity. They're not turning in the right direction for Curiosity this week.
I can't get my humidity up. My humidity keeps dropping in my apartment.
Well, you also, you live by the ocean, but you don't live surrounded by the forest that's losing all of its moisture right now.
Yeah, well, I guess there's that problem.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by the forest, and you look outside and you can see this whitish haze over all the trees, and I know all that moisture is coming right into my valley here.
Yeah.
My hair is really curly because of it, though. It's great.
It is definitely warm, and it's expected to last for several more days, though the temperature's supposed to be dropping. I'm hoping Canada Day's a little better. Not that
Oh, today is supposed to be the worst of it, so...
Well, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, this is coming to you a couple of days early. And since that pretty much wraps it all up, we'll call it a show at that point there. We don't have any Q&A segment. Remember, folks, reach out to us. Questions, answers, comments, likes, dislikes, whatever. Any suggestions for the show, all that good stuff.
Even just to say hi.
Absolutely. Just to say hi, I listened to the show. We did have somebody contact us last week that I missed. She'd sent me a speak pipe shortly before the show asking about the show. And whenever I see a speak pipe, I assume it's a regular comment. And I didn't listen to it till this morning, expecting to use it for the show. And it was just her asking what was happening to the show because she couldn't find it. So we fixed that. Thank you very much. We appreciate speak pipes. That's the other thing you can do is the speak pipe obviously still works. A little button in the lower right hand corner of the website. Click on that. You can record us a message. Send us a message and we'll play it on the show.
Perfect.
All right. With all of that, let's have a Days of Thunder. Carry us on out of here.
All right.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still.
Oops, you know what I forgot to do?
What?
I forgot to play our show credits.
Oh, yes.
Show credits.
Yeah, we're having an off day
Reminder
today.
For the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa-z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaz.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaz.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Always got to get the creepy laugh in there. All right, now for a little Days of Thunder to close it out.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, that's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Adios, mofo.